So it's the day after Christmas, and I figured I would come up here and get some little stuff done I've been putting on the back burner, and one of them is adjusting the valve lash in this car. I've not had the valve cover off since we were at Fuel Tech. I hit the rev limiter a couple times in the initial tuning on the dyno when the transmission messed up and stuff. So, and even then we just checked a couple of them, and because just for time's sake, we just threw everything back together, and I haven't looked at it since. So our EGT numbers have been kind of inconsistent between the cylinders, and I figure that's probably because the valve lash is a little bit off. And then when we were at the track, we had two different people with Jessel rockers that the bolts had broke out, and I thought, well, maybe I need to pull mine off and start looking and make sure I haven't got something that's about to happen. So as far as that goes, all that stuff looks good, but the lash was off a little bit. I didn't warm the engine up. I just went back to the build spec sheet from TKM and looked, and the intake side was 12 thousandths, exhaust side was 14 thousandths on the cold lash. So that's what I put everything back at, just like they did when they assembled the engine. So that should be good. You see me using this trick little tool here. This is what we got from Proline across the street from Fuel Tech. You put the T-handle Allen wrench through there to hold the adjuster screw, and then you can tighten the nut with this, and this has a little, it's like a little torque wrench, so it'll break out whenever it gets to the right torque. So really handy little tool there. So before we go to the track next time, we're going to change oil. We're going to pull that apart and look at all that, make sure there's no bearing material. Then another thing, the fuel pressure regulator, the adjusting screw in the top here, you see it's ran all the way down. We really can't give it no more to get our base pressure up. That's mainly because this pump, I went ahead and got a 19 gallon per minute pump, which is way overkill for this car. But we've underdriven it with a big pulley because we don't need all that fuel just yet. Well, I think it's underdriven so much, that's why we're having to screw the regulator all the way down to achieve base pressure. So Robert is getting me a smaller pulley, and we're going to turn this pump, or allow it to turn a little bit more, so we can back that off. This will give it more volume in here for boost, because we don't have an issue right now, but I'm afraid when we go up and boost, it's not going to go up the way it needs to go, just because the chamber is so small in here for the air. It'll maybe act like the wastegates do sometimes whenever there's not enough chamber in there for the air. A lot of guys will put like remote reservoirs and stuff like that. That also softens the hit, the response, all that. So I just don't want to run into an issue down the road. So during our short period of downtime here until we get to the track next time, I want to take care of that as well. So that's all for today. I'm gonna get this thing put back together and go to the house. See ya.